first, let's move on. Should we make everyone carry a digital ID card? That's in the news today. 020 7862 2222. On the front page of the Eye, here we are. God, they're coming out with, it's like the Trump administration, they're coming out with policies by the hour, the government. Now they're back from summer holidays. Starmer plans ID cards for all to help stop UK boat migrants. So the idea that you could issue a digital ID to stop people coming in illegally. Yesterday, the Prime Minister chaired an emergency meeting to discuss how ID cards could be used to stop the crossings. And that's after Emmanuel Macron warned the lack of ID cards in this country is a major incentive to migrants. Critics of the cards have said they erode our civil liberties. I'd love to know what you make of it. Would you be happy carrying one? Imagine you go to the shops, you think, I forgot my card. You have to go home again. What about you, Carole?
I don't have anything against them in principle. I don't. However, I'm really cross about this because this is Starmer, yet again, tinkering around the edges of the problem of out-of-control immigration. I don't see why every Brit should have to carry an ID card and get into the situation you've just described because this government can't control people who are coming into this country. Yes, give them to people who are coming here. Yes, give them to people who are asylum seekers waiting to be processed. Give them to them because it might stop them working in the black market, although I don't think so.
By definition.
We know they get that. However, in terms of the rest of us Brits having them, I don't agree with it because I don't trust this particular government to protect my data and my information.
Oh, OK.
Not for one nanosecond.
But your data's out there anyway. You've got the NHS has got
But
your
I would
data.
have more data on a card. And hackers would be able to get into ID cards in a heartbeat. Wow. And that would worry me. Okay. So I don't want to do it.
Find out who can. You know, isn't the best protection against identity fraud is fame? And therefore, no one is going to go around trying to be Carole Malone.
No.
So it'd be unthinkable.
It might surprise you to know there's quite a lot of people who have no idea who I am and care even less. So that's why they would be able to use my information.
Would they? I suppose there was a Gloria Hunniford case where somebody went in impersonating Gloria Hunniford and got 100 grand.
Wow.
From her account.
God.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to get it from mine, that's for sure. They can try.
What do you think about this, Nelufar?
At least we can do perfunctory, get it done with. I shouldn't be talking about this. This should just be put into place and be effective. We carry driving licenses, and most people use that as a form of identity. If you're going to go to a club, if you're going to go to have a drink somewhere, and you're fortunate enough to look younger than 21, then people expect you to carry an ID card. This is simply perfunctory. I have to say, if we are trying to deal with the issue with the number of people that we are allowing into the country legally and those coming in here and by other means, we have to be willing to give something to get something. And this is a compromise.
I know you like this idea, but I want you to imagine a situation where a police officer sees somebody on the street who, let's say, is loitering. And the police officer says, do you mind showing me your ID? And the guy says, I do.
Yes.
And I won't.
And this
until you throw me in the back of the van.
And this has happened in the past. But you don't have to give your ID, your name or your address to a police officer by law.
Then what's the point of it?
So you can choose to do that later on. So they can't search you for your ID card and get that off of you anyway, unless they have reasonable cause to do so. But that's not the point. That's a different law. We're not going to tack this onto this. What we're saying is you're asking this question in the context of dealing with migration. Sure, let's give everyone ID cards. It can certainly
Why should
not
I have to have an ID card? Because Keir Starmer can't control out-of-control
Because
immigration.
Keir Starmer can't control it, that's why we should have ID cards. I mean, it's the same
Macron
argument,
is
isn't it?
talking about the pull factor. This is not going to stop anyone coming into this country. It's not going to stop them. No, it will not. And what he needs to do is address the real thing that will stop people coming into this country. One of the things is leaving the ECHR or ignoring the diktats from the ECHR, bringing a deterrent scheme back like Rwanda. That will stop people coming. This will not.
I was talking to a young relative a couple of years ago, 16 years old, and I said, what would you like for your 16th birthday? And she said, fake ID, please.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, you're asking me to give you fake ID? But it's so commonplace among the young.
Of course.
And I think this would be faked the second it emerged.
Sure.
Unless we all have some sort of QR code printed on our foreheads.
But do they ask you for a fake driver's licence?
No, it was something that they could use.
Because that would be much harder to do,
That's true.
Right?
It's not biometric. OK, Jean in Dorset, are you happy with the idea of carrying ID yourself to make it harder for small boat migrants?
No, I'm not, and I wouldn't carry it either. You know, this is the latest government harebrained scheme This government, in particular Starmer, is all sizzle and no sausage. I know who I am.
Well said, Jean.
People I owe money to know who I am. The taxman certainly knows where I am.
Yeah.
So if this is aimed at identifying immigrants, illegal, legal, whatever, then isn't the first thing they do destroy any forms of ID? Yeah. So if they say, oh, here's your ID card, Mr. So-and-so, it's going to go straight in the bin.
Well, the idea would be this. Let's take one of these food delivery systems, let's call them Uberoo. And Uberoo, at the moment, can take on people on a very casual basis and pay them, maybe not in cash, but they don't need much verification. They might start to worry, Jean, if people say, look, unless you can prove you've seen a valid ID card, you will be fined £100,000 for every single worker you take on like that. Now, that would work, wouldn't it, Jean?
It doesn't work without ID cards, does it?
Well, yeah, but Uberoo wouldn't...
She got you there. It doesn't work without ID
Yes, that's the point.
We're not finding employers now who are employing people who are illegal, so why would we do it if they hadn't?
Because it's easier to prove, because you can say, because they don't know if they're illegal.
But Jean,
they can't find out.
It's right, isn't it? In the sense that why should you and I have to carry one just because Starmer can't do his job?
Well, we're in the dangerous thing here of the idea Jean and Carole don't have to carry one, but Nelufar does. That's dangerous.
Well, I mean, come on. Like, it took me 7 years to get naturalised as a British
Exactly.
citizen.
Why would anyone doubt it?
But here's the thing. Thank you. We already have laws called right to work laws, right to work checks in the UK. If you apply for any job in the UK, you must prove, your employer must prove that you have a right to work. So the idea that something like this is going to stop black market work, which could be, for example, in your favourite curry house, the lady doing your nails in your nail salon, the person picking your apples, those kind of jobs, an ID card will not deter.
Oh, migration. I thought that's the point of it.
No.
So why are you in favour of it?
You're talking about two separate things. Either you're talking about the black market workers or illegal migration. I don't...
The point is that they're connected, because Macron says, why
are
they going to Britain? They're going to Britain because if you're illegal in Britain, you can work.
They're coming to Britain because of the hotels, because they get put up in 4-star hotels. Chris Phillips, our Shadow Home Secretary, was in Calais the other week and was surrounded by a group of illegal immigrants with machetes. And when he said to them, why are you coming to England? Why, you're in a safe country now, you've come through Spain, why England? They said, we want the hotels, man. We want to stay in the hotels. That's why they're coming. ID cards aren't going to stop them. They're still going to come.
Great story. The numbers perhaps suggest something slightly different.
Well, no, it does not suggest that.
All right.
It happened to Chris Phillips, and he's got it on film. So that.
Look, this is a great country. I mean, we don't need to ask people why they want to go. It's the greatest country in the world. Thank you, Jean. Ken in Manchester, would you carry an ID card?
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Ken.
Morning.
Yes, sir. I've nothing against carrying an ID card. I think people who are against it are people who've got something to hide. And if you have got nothing to hide, I would gladly prove that I have the right to be here and belong here.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? You have seen this shambolic government and the way it's operated. Would you trust them to have all your sensitive data put on a card? Because I wouldn't trust them to protect it.
But what is sensitive here?
Everything about you.
What, your height, your eye colour?
Today I gave them my name, my number, my car details and my address. I bought dog treats last night and I gave all of that sensitive information to an online website. What's the difference? This is just, honestly...
No, well, Carole, what are you worried about losing? National insurance number, address, maybe, eye colour, height?
Everything.
Everything.
It has everything on that card.
Someone can steal Carole's data, and that's not
And yours, Ken.
And yours, Ken.
I could steal it now.
What do you think? Is that not worry you, Ken?
Well, yeah, I think Carole's right in a way, but personally, the fact to prove that I'd be right to stay in the UK, I have nothing against that. That makes sense.
All right, OK, let's move on. We'll take a break. Thanks so much, Ken. We'll take more calls after the break. Should we make everyone carry digital ID cards? Carole's got a good point here, which is that once you put all your information on a card, someone can nick it. That's what happens around here. 0207 862 2222. So let's talk some more about ID cards, shall we? 0207 862 2222. Lots of people on the line. Hello, Sylvia in Durham.
Morning.
Hi, Sylvia.
How are you, Sylvia?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. Now, wait a minute. Normally you support Labour, do you? Or have I got that wrong?
Yes, I am. I was born Labour. I've been Labour all my life, but I am totally and utterly ashamed I voted for Keir Starmer.
Well, that's what I wanted to see, whether you were sort of peeling away from them a bit now.
I'll never vote for Labour again. And may I just say, I've never, ever, very rarely agreed with Carole Malone, but I agree with everything that lady said today. And as far as Ken's concerned, to say that somebody who doesn't want to carry an ID card has got something to hide is totally insulting, because I would never carry an ID card. I know who I am. I know what I do in life, and I have no need to prove it to anybody.
Well, I think one problem here, I feel for the police in many ways, but I mean, once they're told, look, you can ask someone for their ID card, and if they haven't got it, you can arrest them. You know the first person who's going to get arrested is a 95-year-old war hero. I mean, that's always what happens.
Sylvia, the problem is, years ago, Tony Blair tried to introduce the cards and there was knocked back on the civil liberties clause. Starmer is forever banging on about people's civil liberties and whatever. And here he is trying to bring this back because he can't control immigration. And it's shocking. And, I can't tell you how many people like you I talk to every day, every week, who voted Labour all of their lives and never will again. He's done so much damage.
Well, it's early. I'll balance that by saying it's early days.
It's not.
If you front load all your mistakes, and he might have another. Look at Thatcher.
You really think he's finished making mistakes?
Thatcher was going to get voted out in 1981, then she had the Falklands War.
He's going to make it so that no one ever votes Labour for the next 30 or 40 years.
Well,
he's going to destroy the Labour Party.
Do you think that's right, Sylvia?
So bad.
Yeah, I think Carole's. I hit the nail on the head. I think Keir Starmer has totally and utterly made a total and utter shambles of everything he's done.
Wow.
He's highly shamed, but I'm ashamed I voted for him.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We do try and get people to support Keir Starmer to come on the show, just in case you're wondering where they are. We can't always find them. Peter in Suffolk, hi.
Hi there, Jeremy.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Would you carry an ID card?
Yes, I would, because I've got no trouble with showing an ID card to the police.
What about Carol's point, which is that we've seen, my God, I mean, the Ministry of Defence guy who leaves the briefcase on the train.
Exactly.
The government could leave all our ID cards on a rubbish skip somewhere,
Well, when you look at what information is on your mobile and people are getting their mobiles pinched,
True.
At least your ID is in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, how much...
This could get pinched.
Interestingly, Nelufar's got the firm word on this because she's a young person, Carole, and you don't worry about your data being stolen, basically because you think it's all been stolen already.
If I'm the young person on the show, we're all in trouble.
Well, look around.
Here.
Look at the camera crew.
They're ancient.
How old are you? You're about 22.
Aisha's younger than you.
Peter, I agree with you wholeheartedly. There is nothing that we currently don't possess that has all of that information out there. So for us sitting here today to say that we wouldn't have an ID card feels a little disingenuous when on my phone you can see my emails dating back to 2011. Oh. So it just feels a little bit odd. Like,
but if someone's going to attack you on the street...
It's a digital ID card. You wouldn't have to do anything more.
Okay.
No one's asking... By the way, really important point.
Go quickly.
There's difference between asking people to carry an ID card and making it law that you have to show it to the police.
Ah, well, OK.
And can I just point out as well, there's no evidence anywhere in the world that says carrying ID cards helps stop illegal immigration. Nowhere, anywhere.
Correct.
So, yeah, and that's the key thing here.
Correct.
That if you're a migrant and you turn up on a boat on the beach in Dover and you haven't got papers or anything, so you can't be sent back to any... This is the problem with the reform policy. They want to send you back to where you come from, but you're not going to tell them where it is. How does not having an ID card stop you being put in a hotel, stop you using the NHS?
Why don't we ask a refugee that came to this country? Oh, here I am. So when we came to the UK from Afghanistan, I didn't need a piece of paper to say I was Afghan. By the way, born in the middle of a civil war. Unfortunately, the Department for Identity Cards wasn't really functioning back then.
What year were you born?
1988.
OK.
So... First of all, there are lots and lots of extremely brilliant reasons why people don't carry ID cards when they're refugees to this country. Secondly, and this is really important to bear in mind,
we have got callers.
I have more things to do with Afghanistan than just an ID card. A, I speak a language that you can verify very quickly. B, I have genealogy that takes me back to Afghanistan. So the idea that, like, the channel is full of bits of paper is just utterly fallacious.
I don't
Can
know.
I just say this?
Must get a... I'm so sorry, but
go,
the only reason we're here is to hear what people think. Stephen in Swansea, hello.
Guys, everything okay?
Yeah, thanks, yeah. So what would you like to say?
Well, basically, I've got a digital passport. I've got a digital driving licence. I've got a bus pass. Surely the solution is, as people are coming into the country and landing on the beaches, why don't we put like the tag system that prisoners have?
Yes.
You can track where they've been, give them a number. If any of it they're accused of any crimes, you can check, see where they've been. I just think it's an easier answer.
Stephen,
You put a tag on their ankle as soon as they arrived?
Yes, then you know where they are.
But Stephen, what's to stop them cutting it off?
Well, there should be some sort of penalty then, isn't there?
Well, there will be, but then you can't
know
find
who
them because they've got into the black market, and you're never going to see them again.
I don't think you can cut them off that easily, actually. But it's more of a.
Well,
I mean, I don't. Human rights thing here.
If you're seeking asylum in this country, the last thing you're going to do is to cut them off, because then you can't seek asylum in this country.
You might not be seeking asylum, but you could still disappear.
With respect,
we've lost
here. They
hundreds of thousands into the country.
They were planning to take it off later on.
We're going to talk to Rachel in Hertfordshire. Rachel, hi.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Hi. I just want to say, I've got no gripe with immigrants or anything like that, but I really would warrant to have an ID card because I'm coming in from a totally different angle, right? So I can't drive. I had strokes in my 20s.
I'm sorry.
And so I don't have a driving licence or anything like that. And for me to actually verify my ID, I have to renew my passport. I can't even go abroad because I've had brain surgery recently as well. So I can't go abroad, but recently I had to renew my passport just for ID.
Well, isn't that's fine, isn't it? Can you, get to have your passport for ID I hear
you don't want to carry that everywhere.
You don't have a driving licence. Oh, I see. So an ID card would be convenient for you, would it?
Yes, so an ID card would be the best thing for me because I just, people won't accept anything else but your driving licence or your passport.
Yeah, you raise a good point. I hadn't thought of that. There are some people who just can't, for maybe medical reasons, can't have a driving licence. So this would be good for them, Carole.
You know what? It's never, ever going to happen. This is just this government chucking out yet another thing to make it look like it's tackling immigration. It was only in July this year that the Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, said we would never bring an ID card because, quotes, it's not our approach.
The Tories did. Listen, the Conservative government did. We had a thing where the Conservative government announced if you're in a council house and you get a job, you're going to lose your council house. And then you just knew that policy was. It lasted 2.5 hours. That policy.
I will guarantee this will never happen. Never, ever happen.
Maybe
they're just talking about it. It's just to make it look like they're tackling the problem, and they're not.
Well, all right. Thank you, Rachel. Thanks for all your calls. Later, we'll be asking if it's too early to start our Christmas shopping.